Hi, Sarah Mack here, and today I'm going to share some behind the scenes of what I did in my business to allow me to have a really successful vacation. And I just got back from 2 weeks off. Me and my partner love to just hit the road with our camping gear, go into the wilderness, go into the mountains, and not have a plan and just adventure and explore, switch off, have time in nature, and actually go out of service a lot of the time. So it's really important when we do that for me to make sure that everything is set up in my business. And just going on vacation in general is something that I'm sure you all identify with this. Like sometimes it can feel like you have to do all of the work for your vacation in your business before you leave, and it can feel like so much extra work. And it's always been a fine balance for me of, not like being stressed and giving myself loads of work to do, while also, finding that place where I really am set up to genuinely be able to switch off, take time out, and also know that I'm taking care of my business and I'm not just like dropping it all while I'm away. So this particular vacation was my most successful yet, just in terms of how I felt, how organized I was, how financially set up I was in my business. And I'm going to share why and how I did that so that you can do that for yourself too. So our vacation was amazing. We did a 10-day road trip around the Northeast. We went initially camping in Thousand Islands in Ontario. And then we drove into the mountains in Quebec. We went kayaking, we hiked up a mountain, we swam in lakes, we swam in rivers. It was so rejuvenating. We hit up the spas in Quebec, which are honestly like nowhere else. They're so amazing in Quebec. If you don't know about this, it's literally littered with incredible spas and nature. We went to Montreal for the weekend to celebrate my birthday with my friends, and we had such a good time. And there are three main areas that I really took care of in my business that allowed me to really have that freedom to be able to relax and also feel like I wasn't dropping the ball or, had like half a foot in my business while I was away. So one of those is client boundaries. The other one is sales, and the other one is content and marketing. So I'm going to share with you what I did in the episode today. And, the reason we go on vacation is to relax and enjoy and switch off and allow your brain to just like wind down from the to-do list and put a full stop in the sentence and really reconnect so that you come back with that sense of renewed inspiration. So I wanted to feel like I didn't have shit to manage in my business. And I wanted to make sure also that things were in place so that I could go off grid, because I was going to be, out of cell reception for several days. So I love it when that happens because it forces me to actually set things up. So number one that I want to share that went really well was client boundaries. So, I make sure that all of my clients know that that's what's happening. And, this is an opportunity to root into, again, the belief that what is best for me is best for my clients, because I used to be really fearful around not being being unavailable. And that really came from, working in my previous career in film crews, where you literally got fired if you didn't answer the phone or answer when you were called on the radio. And there's really this fear to like always be available, always be accessible, always ready to say yes, because if you say no, then, they'll skip over you and go to the next person and you'll never work again. And all of these bullshit lies that are never true. We get to say no. And, but that was like a real thing for me for, the first several years of my business. Of that fear would just creep in of like, oh, I can't possibly become unavailable because then my clients will, I don't know, run away or like be disappointed or, so, I had to remind myself that I am modeling and embodying living a life of freedom and creating a business that supports what that freedom means and looks like for me. And this is something to celebrate and to not be fearful of, because if I'm able to do that and model that and embody that, then I can support my clients to do that too. And then we all get to be free. And that's what it's about. So the way that I make it extra beneficial for my clients to not be available to them for a couple of weeks, and also obviously to be fair and to honor their client contracts, is I just extend their contracts for however long I'm away. So I let them know that they can still use all of the spaces. My mastermind clients can still connect with each other in the chat. If they have a question, they can also leave it in Voxer. And I set the clear expectation that I may not be in there at all for the entire 2 weeks, but it felt good to me. If it feels good to me, then I can still jump in. And I just simply ask them to write a text note versus a voice note, because that makes it easier for me to access if I'm abroad or I have spotty Wi-Fi or I'm with friends or family on the road. Before we get back to the episode, I have something exciting to tell you about. There were a couple of key things that changed everything in my life as an entrepreneur that allowed me to bring in 6 figures while working half as many hours and having more fun than ever before in my business. It was money mindset work around how I was doing business, combined with getting good at sharing strategic sales content online. I know you know that this is your year to start hitting your 10K month income goal and living the life of creative freedom and fulfillment you have been dreaming about. You're ready to be consistently attracting total dream soulmate clients through the creative content you're sharing on social media, and you want to be reaching more people, charging higher rates, and working much less. So I'm very excited to invite you to join me in Freedom Club, my mastermind, where you'll receive tailored high-level support to master the skills that will create your dream life and 6-figure dream business starting now. With focused weekly trainings and coaching calls to find the clarity on your content that's going to make you the most money, to design a simple, fun launch strategy you'll enjoy following through on, plus daily support and feedback from me in the Voxer chat, you'll find that sweet spot in your business where you're the most confident in your work, having the most fun, and making the most money. Go to withsarahmac.com/freedom club to apply now. Now let's get back to the episode. So I did check in a couple of times, but that was purely because I wanted to, because I was on a long drive and I was bored and I wanted to do it and I had the space and time to do that. Because I do genuinely love connecting with my clients and I want them to win. I want to be able to add to their success, as and when it feels good to me. It was not from a place of fear or obligation. And I love my work. I love to be generous. And it all just felt so good the way that it was set up, that I had clear boundaries with no expectations whatsoever from my clients. And I fully gave myself the option to completely unplug if I wanted to do that, which I did for the majority of my vacation. So the next piece is sales. So I have signed clients and received payments before when I'm on vacation. And when I did, it was because I was selling something that they could self-enroll via, a public payment link on a sales page that was being promoted while I wasn't there to, personally enroll them or do contracts or anything like that. I've also had applications for my mastermind and one-on-one when I've been on vacation. And to be honest, while I'm always really excited to welcome new clients, sorting out contracts and having sales conversations in my DMs with people isn't always the desired vibe for me when I'm really taking that time out to switch my brain off. But that is not something I worry about anymore. And here's why. Because I've really been focusing on intentionally building up reoccurring income in my business. So right now I have 2 to 4K coming in already on day 1 of the business throughout the rest of the year and into next year, before I've even done one single day of selling or promoting and bringing in more sales for the month. And that was a very intentional decision, and that I wanted to take the pressure off myself from starting at 0 and feeling the pressure to make sales from day 1. So now I always start the month with a solid foundation of income and a head start on my sales goals for the rest of the month, which feels really stabilizing and spacious and reassuring for me. And the way that I did this was to simply get clear that this was what I wanted and to set my intention and my goal to create it. So my goal is to create 10K of reoccurring income each month, starting from day 1 of the month. And since I set this goal, my reoccurring income has gradually been increasing and extending further and further out ahead of me since I set that goal and started to use it as a filter through which I was making my decisions in business. And as I always like to remind myself and my clients, whatever doesn't feel good in your business, we have the power to change. We can do whatever the fuck feels good to us. So having that stable foundation has really just taken a lot of pressure off for me around, taking a 2-week vacation at the start of the month. So in my mind, I felt really capable and free and solid in my business to know that I could really go off the grid and relax and take time out from business. So there was a big energetic difference for me this time around, because in previous vacations, my mind was like, I need to be making sales while I'm on vacation. Otherwise, I'll be behind for the month. So I also don't think it's a coincidence that I have set that intention and set that energetic boundary around my vacation. And of course, I signed 2 clients the day before I left, and 2 existing clients re-signed within a couple of days of my return to work. So we get to take breaks and we still get to hit our income goals. Sales still get to come in. It all gets to happen, right? As long as we have those clear intentions and those clear boundaries, and obviously we take action to back up those intentions and actually create that vision. And I see this all the time when I move and say yes and claim the things that I desire in my life, my business moves in to support that. So, side note, if this is a conversation that you're interested in going a little deeper into, go and check out last week's podcast episode on opening up to receive more abundance by saying yes to your desires. So that was the sales piece. The next piece was content. And I recently hired a new social media manager, and a new project that I'm working on is repurposing content and delegating more of the social media content I put out so I can create even more space to do what I love most, which is to write and create purely from my inspiration, and then have somebody else translate that into social media content. So definitely watch this space. I'll be sure to keep you updated on how all of that is going. And batching content is something I have historically really struggled with, but going on vacation has usually been the thing that has motivated me to break through my resistance and batch my content so that I have that time freedom and break from creating. So what I did this time around was I literally wrote all of the days of the week in a Google Doc. I went into my content library and repurposed pieces. And I also went into, my Word doc where I was writing new pieces of content that I had created, but not yet published. And I slotted them in with a few small tweaks and just made sure that all the pieces were there for my VA to post, the captions, the email subject lines, the PSs. So, in the past, when I maybe wasn't at a place where I felt either organized enough or just satisfied enough with my content to be pulling from prior pieces, I would just sit and actually write the pieces. I think I batched 3 at once. I can't really do any more than that. So I gave that Google Doc to my assistant. She has access to my folder of photos to choose whatever she wants when she posts it. And I gave her some text to turn into graphics and carousel posts for Instagram as well as text and guidelines for my daily stories. So even though it can feel like a lot of work at the time, I'm actually always surprised by how little time it can actually take to pull together a week or 2 of content when you really create the space to do it in 1 or 2 sittings. And this process is actually now evolving into a more extended content calendar for me. And the next goal we're currently working towards is having a month of content put together in advance. And that will be really easy to reschedule and to plug and play when I want to relaunch something completely passively. How cool is that? So I'm really focused at the moment on building out strategies that are going to bring me even more freedom than I already have, while also being able to grow my impact and my income by reaching more people without having to do more quantities of work. I freaking love online business for that, and the fact that all of this is possible. It's just so fun and exciting that there's always a next level of freedom, impact, and income. And now I get to leverage all the work that past Sarah has done and create more freedom for future Sarah to have even more vacations, downtime, and flexibility every year moving forward in my business. So I hope that you've taken away some nuggets that you can start to apply to really be able to successfully carve out vacations, time for breaks, time for friends and family where you're really unplugged from your business. I just really, really enjoyed it. It was so nice not to have that anxiety in the background, not to be like feeling like I had that pressure to check in, even if it was, a small amount, just to see how things were going, knowing that I could really trust my team to take care of the things that I'd given to them, and to just really relax, know that the sales and the money were coming in, and that I wasn't going to be behind for the month when I came back after 2 weeks away. So I would love to hear from you. Like, what are either some of the struggles that you've had with scheduling out breaks and taking vacations in your business? What has been challenging for you? What currently is challenging for you? Or what has worked for you? Please send me a DM. I love to hear from you. Please leave a comment. And please remember to subscribe and share this with any other entrepreneur friends that you have who you know deserve to have a proper vacation and a break away from their business. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week.
For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com, and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing.